retired teacher. I have a PhD in vocational education, vocational agriculture actually. Spent roughly 30 years in the high school, teaching high school. I've taught at the university level. That's how I got to be called doctor.
Okay.
Students call me doc. Uh, got involved in this because a couple reasons. One, and if you know much about the township, I live on a part of the township. St. Clair Township is very large and kind of scattered around, and there was really no representation on the township board on my part of the township. So one of the things I wanted to do was to give the residents in my part of the township a voice. That was one reason. The second reason was I knew Dave Barnes very well, and I'd heard rumors about how crazy the board was, how much infighting there was, just craziness. And I had been the vice president of a teachers union and been involved in contracts. And when I've worked, I've usually worked managed grants, millions of dollars. And I know it's public money, taxpayer money. So I thought, let me get involved, see what I can do as far as spending taxpayer money wisely. I'm a very conservative, fiscally conservative person. And so I ran and won. And I have to admit that township government's a little bit different. People do not realize what you do at the township level. Sewers, streets, parks, there's a little bit of general assistance, and that's it. I can't hire a policeman, so don't call me about the sheriff, because I have no influence on the sheriff at all. We don't get into social issues. We deal with your money.
Right.
And the trustees, we are the auditors, and I take that very, very seriously. When I see every 2 weeks I get to audit the expenditures of the supervisor and the road commissioner, and I look at those. And when we first got elected, I looked at it and said, why are we paying to have a commercial lawnmower fixed every month, and paying $120 labor on a 15-year-old lawnmower? I discussed it with Dave, and he said, well, I've been thinking about getting a new one. I said, let's get a new one. Why are we throwing away $1,000 a month that automatic, because it's old and it's constantly being worn, and
Sure.
belts break and all kinds of stuff. And in the end, we saved about 20 to 30% on maintenance costs over the last 4 years, just because of those kind of things. If you're not auditing well, you just sign off on the audit sheet. You don't realize that you're spending $1,000, $1,500 at a lawnmower repair place.
Yeah.
You don't know that, because how would you know it? You only know it when you look at the audit. And I have to admit, our trustees take the time to look at every bill. And when I see a $15,000 bill, first thing I want to know, what did you do for $15,000? What actually got done? And so the other trustees are the same. We've asked both Jim and Dave questions about things like that, because it's taxpayer money. It's not my money. I didn't sell anything to make a profit. It's your tax dollars. If you take that approach, you then want to use it as wisely as you can. I don't believe in throwing good money after bad. So we've done a lot of things in the township through Dave and through Jim, modernizing our equipment, because again, I kept saying, especially to my good friend Jim, why do we have these huge bills from Schmidt, whatever it is, for mechanics bills at $130 an hour? And he would say, well, I got an old truck and it broke down and we got to get it fixed. So it wasn't long we decided to buy some new vehicles, because the others were just getting repaired constantly. And to me, if you're going to spend 3 years repairing a vehicle, when you could have bought one and then had a good vehicle for 3 years, that's money saved because you've lost all that repair money. So to me, that's what we do. We don't all agree. The other thing I would say about our board, I think we have a motto, good people make good government. I'm not worried about whether you're politically here or there. I worry about, are you a good person who's concerned about pay and about spending taxpayer money well? And we have a board that all the members on that board take it seriously on what we do about the money and what we do about good service. And because of that, every year for 4 years, every single departmental category has been under budget. In every category, whether it was sewers, permanent road, general fund, park district, whatever, we have been under budget every year. And to me, that's amazing. It's allowed us to, I am the volunteer park director. We have been able to take a park called Loop Creek that had nothing in it, just grass. We planted 30 new trees. We bought benches. We put in a asphalt walking trail, 2 pavilions, new water fountains. We're going to be putting in a toilet facility. We got grills in. We're going to be asphalting a parking lot. We've done all of that without having to raise any taxes. We've done it all with about $200,000 to $300,000 worth of grants that we've been able to do. And that's because we've been smart. We haven't wasted our tax dollars on things we didn't need. And because of that, that money's rolled over in that park budget, and we're not going to have to borrow. We're not going to be in debt doing any of this. Matter of fact, we'll get it all done and have money left. So, to me,
a surplus.
That's what. But thinking about surpluses, the thing to remember as a trustee, we go to a meeting and Dave says, well, guess what? We had backup and we've got to come in and call so-and-so to come out and clean out the sewer because there's roots growing or whatever. It's going to cost us $30,000. Well, we got to have that money in the bank. That's not a proposed project.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why we're very careful to watch our money, because it's an expensive proposition. You're dealing with the public, and you're dealing with private enterprise. Those guys are out to make money. They're not going to come out at Sunday night and work on a clogged whatever for $20 an hour. They're going to charge you, and you're going to pay the piper. So if you don't have the money in the bank, then you're in trouble. Dave does a really good job on the sewer side of having money in the bank. We've never had one emergency. We had a part go out, 2 years ago, I think, the sewer plant, $500,000 repair. $500,000 just to install this piece of equipment that had to be specially made. I don't know what it's called, a bar screen, I think. Think about that. $500,000 phone call, it's broken, it has to be fixed, it has to be replaced, we don't have any choices, there's no option, it's specially made, all that good stuff, and yet we had the money in the bank to do it without borrowing any money, without raising any taxes, without raising any sewer rates. I think that's good government.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's $500,000. That's what it is, $500,000. And people, you say, when you throw that million out there, people begin to realize that's a lot of money,
It's a lot of money.
And just have it come out of the blue, that's, you have to be able to, when I went to Bible school, we had a concept, it was a 20-80 concept. You save 20% out of everything.
Yeah.
And budget and work on 80%.
Yeah.
Because then if you ever have an issue, then you've got that 20% that you've been putting back that you can use that to be able to function and operate on.
And give Dave credit. Dave's been there. He'll be there. This is his 8th year. He's been doing this for 8 years. He's been keeping the money. When the budget comes, we can put the money. He's been buying CDs. We're getting interest on that money because he knows. And the state, give the state credit. The state credit tells you need to have X amount of money in the bank because these are expensive fixes. When they happen, they're expensive. And you don't get a sewer, you don't see it, you don't think anything about it, but when you have a sewer collapse, guess what? You better be out there tomorrow fixing it or the citizens are going to hang you because it's a big deal. And so, and it's an expensive deal. And they don't realize, the citizens don't always realize how expensive that is. And so, if you're not proactive about it, by that I mean we line the sewers. We're going through a process of relining all the sewer lines, St. Clair County's sewer lines, so that township sewer lines, so we don't have these accidental breaks. Because those accidental breaks are $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 projects.
Yeah.
Whereas we can line it for $15,000. Things like that. Citizens you don't see sewers until they don't work, and then then you want them fixed.
Yep.
Streets are a little bit different. Jim has a little different issue, and the citizen sees a pothole or whatever, and they can see that, and they can see you come out and put the asphalt down, and they can see you plow the streets in time. But Dave's situation is they don't really see any of that.
Till it backs up in their basement.
Till it backs up in, trust me, and they don't realize too that we're not responsible for their line from the township sewer line to their home. They're responsible for that. That's why we maintain the sewer lines the best we can so that there's minimal damage done. Unless they can prove it's our fault, they have to fix it. And that's an expensive proposition for the homeowner.
Yeah.
And they get mad. Well, it backed up into my basement, and why were you guys did this and that? And we come out and we do our cammering and all that stuff to verify, was it us or is it you? And turn it over to the insurance company, or if it's us, we fix it. But if it's not us, it's on them. And
Sure.
So.
Well, I know one municipality, I won't mention where they're at, but we have friends of ours that live in this particular town, and they had a situation where the town itself had a sewer issue, and it was backing up in everybody's basement all at the same time. And man, what a mess that was. They had carpeted basements and all that stuff, and it just backs up with raw sewage. That's a mess. And so that happens, and that's when the public realizes, man, we need sewers. Or if you ever lived out in the country and lived on a septic tank and have an issue with that, you know how just, like I said, sewers aren't pretty, but everybody needs sewers, man. That's just the way it is.
How do they get a hold of you, sir?
I'm easy to, well, all of us are on the St. Clair County website. So if they go to the St. Clair County website, all of us are there. My personal number is 618-444-7471. People can call me. Like I said, I do the park director. We meet once a month. I don't get any pay for that. That's a pure voluntary type of thing. I will say this, citizens need to know, we just negotiated a contract with our staff, a 3-year contract. We did the impossible. We gave them a raise and we saved money. The actual contract itself pays for itself over 4 years, so that it will not cost the township any money, even though the staff did get raises. Most municipalities did not give any raises in their latest contracts because of COVID. We were able to do that because, again, we had money in the bank, and we're able to. It wasn't very much, but it's something. It was something. So I'm very proud of the fact we were able to get that done. It was very positive. We didn't have to have any squabbles. Matter of fact, very little negotiation had to take place on it. I've been involved in a lot of union negotiations, and I thought it went really well. We do have a union we deal with. So that was a plus. I mean, like I said, we had a contract negotiation, settled a contract, and we actually had money left over. which seems to be impossible, but due to the fact that somebody retired and the way we have it structured, we were able to save quite a bit of money in personnel costs, which people should be thankful we have a good contract.
Yeah. Well, a good thing is, what I like to hear is the fact that you're investing money in interest-bearing. I've always thought about, why is it that the government doesn't take some of the money, especially if they have a surplus at all, and invest that in some kind of an interest-bearing account and let your money make you money, so you don't have to have every penny be solely on taxpayer dollars. I mean, obviously you need a tax base, but why not make money when you got a chance to make money?
Well, yeah, and you do have people say, well, if you're doing that, why aren't you giving money back to the taxpayers? And my response to that is, you have no idea, just like this, Dave talked earlier about these tanks that we have to get. We've talked to the engineers. Those tanks we've got now they're going to be gone in 5 to 10 years. Either they're going to be gone because we build new ones, or they're going to be gone because they busted and we had to replace them. That's a $1 to $2 million proposition just to try to fix them. Or we can get through the EPA, we can construct new ones for about $6 million that will last for 50 to 75 years. So we either do that now, or we wait, or we invest $2 million just to patch it up, and then have to invest $6 million 6 or 7 years from now. From my vantage point, that's why you've got money in the bank, and that's why you have trustees. Your trustees sit there and decide. We sit there and discuss this multiple times. What should we do? And from my vantage point, being a fiscal conservative, I don't see why I want to spend $2 million on something I have to replace in 3 or 4 years anyway.
Well, the thing is, if they break, then you got to deal with the cleanup.
Right.
So that's going to be more money thrown on there because you got to clean it up. Because the EPA don't, you got to clean that stuff up.
So to me, but those are the kind of decisions, and that's why you need people on as trustees that have an understanding of, number one, government money, that it is not free money, it's government money. It's not money you make by selling stuff. It's taxpayer property tax driven money, number one. Number two, they have to understand the whole thing about short-term and long-term. The short-term things are the emergency things and the daily things, but the long-term is, if I go out here and fix this street that's got a bunch of potholes, but I spend $110 and get a brand new, redo the whole street, that's a long-term positive decision to make for those residents. Or I can come out and do a few patches this year, and 6 months later I'm come out and do more patches, and 6 months later I'm come out and do more patches. That's Jim's decision. That's what he decides, short-term versus long-term. And that's what you want trustees to be able to do, to think, to work together, to share ideas, and to come up with strategies, again, that take care of the short-term interest of the residents and the long-term interest. Yeah. If they're only doing short-term, you're going to have residents going to get mad because things are going to, you're going to spend a whole lot of money you don't need to spend. If all you're doing is long-term, you're not dealing with issues that are daily things that maybe citizens need you to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about our board. They come together, they talk about those things. And that's such a positive. And I'm on my soapbox, and I'll shut up. If government from the national level on down came together, good people for good government that cared about how the taxpayer was being served first, you wouldn't have the polarization and the anger and all that you have. You would have issues being solved and resolved in the best interest of the citizens. But we're not doing that. But we are on the township level, we're able to do it.
Well, and the thing is, you have to be concerned about the people. You can't be concerned about your own personal interests. And that's why on the national level and even the state level, is because you got people fighting amongst themselves because it's a fight for power. But if your goal is to come in and represent the people and do the best you can for the people, you don't have those power struggles, and that's the big deal. And you talked about being government money. Actually, it's the people's money.
Yeah.
You're being entrusted with the people's money, and I know as a taxpayer, I don't have a problem paying taxes because the Bible talks about give to Caesar what Caesar's due. I realize you can't run all the things that we have. The infrastructure and everything requires taxpayer dollars. I have no problem with that as long as I feel like my taxpayer dollars are being utilized wisely and not just being squandered on this, that, or the other, or paying for the board of trustees to go to a seminar somewhere that just happens to be in Las Vegas, or in Orlando or something. I don't even have a problem with them going to Orlando or Las Vegas, as long as I know that their whole purpose for going is to get what they need to get, and they're not out there squandering the money and blowing it. I have no problem with that. But the bottom line is knowing you have people that are representing you, doing the job, and doing the best they can, working together with a common goal, and that's the common good of the people. Then that's what we need in the government, and we need it in all levels, just like you said.
That's the tragedy. We don't have that. We have vested interest. See, from our town, I'm on the parks. Give you a quick example. The two major parks in the township are on the other side of the township. My residents in my neighborhood never use those parks, or very seldom. They probably don't even know they exist. But as a trustee, I have to be concerned about the residents at Loop Creek and Lincolnshire that use those parks. I need to be concerned about, is that park serving them? I can't sit there and say, well, it doesn't serve my citizens, I don't care, we just sell it, I don't care what we do over there, it's a waste of money. If you have that attitude, whether it's me or John or Mike or Julie, then you have a really good township because you're taking care of all the residents. When my street got done over by my neighborhood, there wasn't one trustee that complained about that project being done because they knew that it needed to be done. And that's what you need in government.
Yeah.
That you're not worried about. Chicago shouldn't be worried about taking care of Southern Illinois. And Southern Illinois shouldn't be concerned about taking care of Springfield or Decatur. We should be in this together. If they need stuff there, then that's what we do. What we wind up doing is we keep fighting between our region and their region and that region, and it's not that, shouldn't be that way. It should be the state. Fortunately, the township is small enough that it can be the township. And fortunately, we have Dave and Jim and a board that views the township that way. Hopefully, Stuckey does that. Hopefully, the communities, Millstadt, wherever you live, does that. They don't all do it because they get elected, and the next thing you know, I got to take care of that subdivision because they're the people that came out and voted for me, and I got to make sure they're taken care of. And that's the wrong way to do business.
Well, yeah, and plus you're not getting, because you're on the board, you're trustees. Your street's not always taken care of, and everybody else's street's falling apart. You can't be that way either.
Can't be that way.
It's got you're taking care of everybody.
Take care of everybody. Like I said, Jim's road crew does a great job of snow plowing. Every street is clean. We've never have a complaint about any of our streets with snow. So I'm very comfortable with that, and I don't worry about it. It's just been really good. Hopefully the citizens will see that, re-elect us as a team. Like Jim liked to say, you never know when you bring somebody new in. They may come in with an agenda that you don't know about, and that creates friction.
Oh yeah.
And you start having arguments, and again, it's all about your taxpayer money.
Yeah. Well, you don't get anything done fighting.
Don't get anything done fighting.
So, well, this is Dr. Wallace. Let's give him a hand. Once more, tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can either reach me by going to the St. Clair County website, and my email address is there, or you can call me at 618-444-7471. I answer my phone. I follow up anytime you have any complaint or suggestion. Oh, we have a website for our party, Good of the Township. You can go there and see things and see what we're all about. So
What's the website?
it's called Good of the Township.
Good of the Township.
Good of the Township.
All right.
Thank you.